What is good, homie? Hope you're doing well. So in today's video, I'll be discussing the 3 steps you need in order for you to start your own online business today. And as you'll see as I go through these slides, it's pretty simple, but it's not easy, okay? It's like going to the gym. It's simple, but not easy. That's why most people aren't in good shape. Like everyone knows what they need to do in order to get in good shape is go to the gym, eat well, sleep well, and you'll be in pretty good shape, right? But why do most people not do it? Because it's not easy, okay? So I'll be outlining the steps in this video, and then you just have to go out and actually do them, right? And after this video, you'll see it's not that difficult, really. Most people overcomplicate it. These are like the only 3 steps you need. And I did a previous YouTube video where I discussed how I made $20,000 my first year in business. So, and it did pretty well compared to the other videos. So I figured I'd just make a separate one where I discussed how you can actually start your own. Yeah, so this is this video. And as always, I have a quote for you from Warren Buffett. It doesn't matter how hard you row, it matters which boat you get in. Okay, so most people think like hard work and grind is the answer, when that's partially correct. That's like 25% of the equation of success in anything you pursue. The other 3 are prudence, perfectionist, and organized. So with those 4 traits, you can basically guarantee success almost. So hard work is only 25% of the equation. The other half, or like the other 75%, is directed towards the boat you get in. So that's basically the business model you wish to pursue. Obviously, if only hard work was the answer to getting rich, like factory workers would be the richest people on earth, but that isn't the case. So you have to choose your boat well. So that's basically just your business model, or like the career you wish to pursue. So yeah. And first on the list is your niche, okay? So basically, niche is a segment of a larger market that can be defined by its own unique needs, preferences, or identity that makes it different from the market at large. So this is not my definition, this is from Google, but it's basically just a group of people that segregate in a like a specific area, right? So it's basically people with the same needs, same problems, same desires, like basically a gym niche. People with the same needs, desires, and they typically have like the same problems. So when you first start out, you need to select a niche. So this is the people you want to solve their problems for and get money in exchange. So in the next slide, I'll just go to the next slide. You need to ask yourself these 3 questions when you are picking your niche, okay? So what are you interested in? What are you passionate about? And what does the market need? And what are your skills? Like Jeff Bezos, for example, he was interested in books. Like Amazon, when it first started, was like an online bookstore. He was so fond of books, he created his own store. So what are you interested in? It can be like anything, right? It can literally be anything. It can be going to the gym, and then you can pick your niche, gym niche. Or you like jiu-jitsu, you can choose your jiu-jitsu niche or whatever. Doesn't matter. It can be engineering, anything. Like most people think they're not interested in anything, but a good hack actually to figure out what you're interested in, just look at your YouTube search history. Like that's a good indication of what you actually want to learn more of. So just try that. And next question is, what does the market need? So most people have this wrong. They first acquire the skills. Like skills are the last question, right? So you have to figure out what the market needs are. So you go to the market, you talk to people, you figure out what are their needs, what do they want, what do they struggle with on a daily basis, and how you can actually solve that problem for them. Like it doesn't matter that you have all these skills, but when you go to the marketplace, they don't need it or they don't want it. So Yeah, that's futile. And then the last question is, what are your skills? And this is like the easiest part. Like most people think, oh, I can't do this because I don't have the skills. Like that's pretty easy nowadays. You can just Google, YouTube, courses. Like it's all out there for you to learn. In like 3 to 6 months, you can become an expert in the field almost. So with with hard work, you can actually acquire any skills you need. So those are the 3 questions. Like the interested one or the passionate one is a bit controversial because most people say like you don't need passion, but it obviously helps. Like if you're motivated to do something, it's just much better, right? Like Jeff Bezos, that's why he was able to build the most successful e-commerce store ever, because he was passionate about books, and that obviously translated into physical products and all that. So, and the reason it helps to be passionate about something is because you'll be faced with a lot of difficulties when you're growing your own business. Like there's a lot of problems that will arise, and when you don't have like a deep sense of why, like your purpose almost, you're just going to give up by your first obstacle. There's a study where 50%, I don't know the exact numbers, but like 50% of people give up when they encounter their first obstacle, and then it's like 88% give up after the second obstacle, and like 98 after the third obstacle, or like 99%. Like 1% of people keep going after the third obstacle. So that's why it helps to be passionate about your niche. So yeah, that's niche selection. Next up is the system, okay? And that's basically to convert a stranger in the wild into a recurring customer of yours. So there's 4 ways. There's actually 8, and Alex Hormozi, I don't know if he came up with this, but he's like famous for it. Not famous, but like he preaches this a lot. So the 4 ways of acquiring clients, there's actually 8, but this is the only 4 you can do. The other 4 are other people. So yeah, so you can do cold outreach, so DMs, emails, warm outreach like content, and then people engage with the content and DM you. The other one is content, like that's basically the same, I think. And paid ads is like where you pay Facebook, and then that you run an ad, and then people opt in, and then you can message them, have a conversation, boom, sales call, close them. So that's like the 4 ways you can actually acquire clients. And I would say like the two ones to get started with are cold outreach and content. So email and DMs, and then put out your own content out there on the internet. So that's the system. You have to have a system in place to actually turn a stranger into a recurring customer. And it's not easy. Like you have to, You have to present like a stimuli for the stranger, and then they have to basically take action in order for them to become a customer. So you have to present them with like stimuli, and then they take action that elicits a reaction from them, and then they become a customer through this system. So yeah, this is like the system, as simple as possible. So you have to do outreach. So strangers are out there in the wild, and you send out emails, content, whatever. They react, or they see the content, or they see the DMs or whatever. Then they book a call. And obviously between these systems, there's a lot of other stimuli, is what they call it. So a lot of other stimuli that elicits reactions from them. Like from outreach to booked, you have to actually have a conversation, and then you have to send a calendar link, and then they don't respond. Then you have to follow up. Then they book a call. Then they don't show up. So that's the next one. Show up on the call, and then you are on the call, and then you close them. So yeah, it's pretty simple, but it's not easy. Like between these steps, there's a lot of action that's required from your side. So yeah, that's that. This is another one with the system. So you have to track your metrics. You know what metrics are? That's basically where, let's say you send 1,000 or like 100 DMs and 2 people book a call. That's a 2% appointment booking rate. Like that's the most important one. What's the word? It's like a North Star almost. Polaris star, I think that's the word. That's like the most important metric is your ABR. So appointment booking rate. Let's say you send, and you can't just send 10 emails and let's say 5 respond. Now you think you have a 50% appointment booking rate, or 5 people book a call. You don't have a 50% appointment booking rate. You have to have a much larger sample size. I think the minimum is like 300. So you have to send out 300 emails, 300 DMs, make 300 pieces of content before you can actually establish your appointment booking rate. So that's the most important, right? And your inputs are directly correlated with your outputs. So it's a linear fashion. So let's say you send out 100 DMs and you book 2 calls. So 2 sales calls, right? I'm leaving out the appointment booking rate, the show up rate and all that. So let's say you have two sales calls from 100 DMs. Let's say you send out 1,000 DMs, then you'll get 20 calls. So it's like a linear fashion. If you 10x the input, you'll have 10x the output, right? So 100 DMs, let's say you 10x it to 1,000. Then from 2 calls booked, you'll have 20. Okay, so it's pretty easy to actually scale when you have a proof of concept. Like it's the same with nature, right? Like the COVID scam that happened. Like they had a proof of concept and then it just rapidly scaled like this. You can look at the chart from COVID. It's like it was like this and then it boom, just scales. So if you have a proof of concept, you can easily scale it. So that's like the hardest part, is actually getting a proof of concept. So next up is sales. So obviously I'm not the best at it yet. Yeah, I said I suck and that's fine. Because obviously you can't expect to be good in something if you haven't had a lot of experience with it. So obviously you can't expect to be good at going to the gym or lifting weights or all that in your first week of going to the gym, right? So I'm in the process of actually improving my skills in sales, and the best way to do it is through experience. So you can read as much as you want, but that's just to lay a foundation, and you can also learn through YouTube and courses and stuff like that. But the best thing you can do is just experience in the game. So yeah. And people buy with emotions and justify later with logic. That's like 95% of why people buy anything is because of emotions, because they think it'll make them feel good, or like any product they buy, they think it's going to make them feel better than their current situation. Like the main thing you want to establish in sales, right? It's like you have a goal, right? And let's say this is you here, and this is your goal, and there's obviously a gap between these two. So a sales goal is basically to establish that gap, because most of the time they don't even know there's a gap, or they don't even know what their goals are. Okay, so you establish that current situation where they are at currently, and then you also you ask certain type of questions, and then you establish their goal. And then you see, obviously I'm not that good at it yet, but I'm basically trying to explain how there's emotions that are connected with these two. So obviously you don't feel the best when you are here and you want to be here. There's like this separation. So your script should basically convey emotion, and create separation. So when you are asking these questions, and obviously it's better if you bought a course and then you can just basically copy and paste that script, which is very good, and gone through a lot of trials and errors and iterations. So you can just basically copy that, but you need to know why you are asking these certain type of questions, because it elicits like a emotion from them, and then people will buy because they feel when they buy your product or your service, the emotions will be alleviated and they will get to their desired situation. So that's basically all sales is. It's just getting you or the bridge from their current situation to their desired situation. So you're the bridge, and basically all their emotions are thrown onto you, basically. So yeah, that's everything. That's the 3 steps. But I left you with a last quote. So I constantly see people rise in life who are not the smartest, sometimes not even the most diligent. So that's like a trait I discussed at the beginning. So that's basically just hard work. But they are learning machines. They go to bed every night a little wiser than they were when they got up. And boy, does that help, particularly when you have a long run ahead of you. So Charlie Munger is a beast. You should check out some of his stuff. He is Warren Buffett's business partner. So yeah, very smart dudes. So you should, if you can, every day when you go to bed, you should just learn 1 or 2 things, okay? And that compounds, especially when you're younger. You should read as much books as possible, learn as much on YouTube, and not get distracted by all this short form nonsense that are basically frying your dopamine receptors. You should basically, when you're younger, like young is for me like under 26, like probably most of you watching this are under the age of 26. You should be a sponge, right? You should absorb as much knowledge as possible. As the only, like, you don't know what you don't know, okay? When you read these books, it's like pathways opening up to stuff you didn't know even existed. So you don't have to be the smartest, don't have to be the hardest worker in the room, although it does help if you can work smart and hard. Like you can't really get better than that. So, but yeah, if you can just become a sponge and learn as much as possible, you'll be set. Doesn't take that long. You can learn, like, you should read at least like an hour a day. Yeah. So I'll leave you with that. I'm currently reading the book Influence. It's a very good book. It's basically showcases how you can persuade people into doing what you want them to do. And it can be used in a very malicious way, but obviously you have to use your own brain and recognize you have to do these things for the greater good and not to exploit people. But if you know it's in their best interest, you'll do anything to, make that leap. So especially in a sales call, when you know it's in their best interest to actually go forth and purchase your product or your service, then you'll do anything. You'll use any tactic to, make that leap. And so it can help them. So yeah, only use it for good reasons and not for your self-interest. Okay. So yeah, that's the book of the week is Influence. I'm not sure what the author is, but you'll get it. It's like the most popular book on influencing people and all that. So yeah, I'll leave you with that, and I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments if you want to, and also leave a like. So if you liked it, if you don't like it, you can dislike. I don't mind. But yeah, I'll see you next week.